reverberations of my first strike had barely faded from the planet world's consciousness. From the sleek, minimalist command center of my mountain redoubt, I stood before the vast obsidian viewport. My senses extended, my mind a network of hyper-attuned nodes waiting. I had expected a torrent of righteous fury, a wave of purifying ki from Arden, a cosmic counterattack that would shatter the tranquility of this new reality. I had anticipated overwhelming force, the swift, decisive wrath of a god whose perfect harmony had been defiled. But there was nothing. No thunderous response, no cleansing fire, only an immense, profound silence. The omnipresent hum of the planar world's ki remained, a boundless, living tapestry of energy. But now, woven into its very fabric, was a heightened, analytical presence, Arden's gaze. It was undeniable, a pervasive awareness that settled over my redoubt, over my very being, with a terrifying intensity. Yet, it was cold, devoid of emotion. It was a focus of immense, detached interest, a relentless, probing scrutiny that felt far more unsettling than any wrath. Confusion rippled through my carefully constructed composure, a momentary dissonant flicker. I rescanned, reanalyzed. The data was unequivocal. Arden was watching, yes, but it was not reacting with anger. It was observing. The dawning realization was a chilling, insidious burn. I was not being treated as a threat deserving of annihilation, but as a fascinating anomaly, a variable in the cosmic experiment. I was a specimen, an object of study, an insect under the Prime Immortal's vast, unblinking microscope. The king of a meticulously crafted illusion now reduced to a data point in a cosmic ledger. The contempt was not overtly expressed, but implicitly contained within that pervasive, analytical silence. It was a profound, unbearable insult that pierced my carefully constructed solitude, igniting a cold, precise fury unlike any I had known. My previous rage at Arden's initial awareness of the great lie had been but a spark. This was an inferno, contained and channeled, burning with the chilling conviction that I would not merely challenge Arden, but utterly dismantle his detached observation. I demanded recognition as an equal force, not a subject of his boundless curiosity. This humiliation, this profound dismissal, amplified my ambition exponentially. Even as Arden's calculated silence pressed in, the Syndicate of Weavers continued their response. Around the settlement I had targeted, their ki probes intensified. They were intricate, seeking out the lingering discordant frequencies I had sown, but their focus was clearly investigate and containment oriented, not overtly aggressive. I watched their efforts on my internal monitors, tendrils of harmonious ki gently attempting to reharmonize the affected minds, like unseen hands smoothing ruffled feathers. They weren't trying to destroy the effects, but to understand them. They even sent out faint, passive bursts of resonant ki, almost desperate attempts at communication, trying to understand the nature of the dissonance I had introduced. I analyzed their methods, their patterns of response, their restraint, their methodical approach. Confirmed my terrible realization. Arden was allowing his agents to study my effect, to gather data on this unique form of discord. This was the terrifying blend of his inherent non-intervention, his prime directive preventing outright destruction of conscious entities unless absolutely necessary, and his insatiable, detached curiosity, the Crucible of Will. He was not fighting me, he was learning from me. The constant, overwhelming hum of the planar world's ki continued in psychological assault, a pervasive pressure that sought to dissolve my individuality into the boundless harmony. Now, layered on top of it was the profound, infuriating awareness of being Arden's project. It was a mental strain that pushed my internal controls to their absolute limit. Every fiber of my being screamed for release, for a reaction that would shatter the infuriating detachment of my divine observer. Yet, I remained unbroken. I channeled the cruising weight of Arden's gaze, the immense key pressure, and this new, burning indignation into an even higher degree of precision. My mind became sharper, more ruthless, burning away any remaining human frailty, transforming mere mental resilience into absolute, unyielding dominance over my own thoughts. My isolation deepened. I was utterly alone in this defiance, a solitary point of discord against a universe of harmony, and this solitude fueled my conviction. I could not endure being a mere subject. My purpose transcended being a data point in Arden's cosmic ledger. My ambition demanded a true confrontation, a clash of wills, where I was an adversary, not a variable. I moved to my holographic interface. My fingers danced across the controls, already planning. My next strike would be more ambitious. It would not merely be a ripple. It would be a calculated, undeniable disruption that would force Arden to abandon his detached observation. I needed to shatter his serene indifference. I began to calculate trajectories, energy requirements, and the optimal discordant frequencies. My gaze swept across the planar map, settling on potential targets, not remote, insignificant settlements, but a minor key nexus, a point of concentrated planar energy vital to the regional harmony, and perhaps a larger, more central harmonious settlement, one whose collective consciousness resonated with a powerful, stable key signature. The objective was clear: provoke Arden into direct emotional engagement, not just detached analysis. He needed to feel my presence, to acknowledge me as an adversary, not a test subject. You observe me, Prime Immortal. I thought, my silent words a challenge against the pervasive key. You study my dissonance, my precision. You treat my will as an experiment, but I'm not a phenomenon to be cataloged. I'm the architect of your undoing. I will shatter your perfect harmony, not with chaos, but with a precision that will leave you no choice but to acknowledge my equality. I will not merely escape your gaze. I will tear a hole in your very sight. I stood resolute in my redoubt, the omnipresent, analytical silence of Arden's gaze washing over me. It was not intimidation, but an enduring, corrosive fury. My plan for the next, more significant strike began to solidify, each detail emerging with chilling clarity from the depths of my precise mind. The architected dissonance would force the hand of the Prime Immortal. The Crucible of Will had begun, and Malachi would not be the one to break.